right, welcome back to the show. You're listening live to live.digitalphotographycafe.com. We're here at WPPI 2012.
And we're at the Fuji booth with Kacey Baker, and we're going to take a look at the X Pro 1. This is a very cool camera, so why don't we give a little rundown to the viewers?
Okay, well, the basic rundown is the fact that we wanted to go from our X100 camera. Basically, our X series is all about quality. And we wanted to be able to make a full-frame quality image out of a APS-C sensor in a compact camera. So what we ended up doing is that we ended up taking out the optical low-pass filter and putting the lens, rear lens element, as close as possible to the sensor. In order to do that, we had to get rid of the optical low-pass filter, and the optical low-pass filter is there because of moire and false color. So how do we get rid of it if we need it? So what we did is we made up our own sensor. So it's no longer a bare array of 2x2, but it's a Fuji X-Trans sensor at 6x6. So we're able to randomize the pixels a lot better. We also came up with our own X mount, so we have our own proprietary lens system. This here is a 35 millimeter or a 50 millimeter for those who speak in other terms. 1.4, very bright lens, very fast. We also have a hybrid viewfinder, which gives you a optical viewfinder with a heads-up display. It gives you all the information you need. And you're able to hit this little switch here, and it takes you over to EVF, which is going to give the electronic viewfinder. You can see it's a nice retro design. You've held it, so it's got a nice...
Yes, I can definitely say I've held it. It is beautiful, nice and heavy, nice girth to it, nice weight to it. Feels like the old retro. Nice beautiful.
It also has a Q button on back here, so this kind of moves you through your basic features, anything you need very quickly, RAW plus JPEG, just fine JPEG, whatever.
ISO or
ISOs, etc. Right? Flash, your focus point, et cetera, et cetera. So that's in there. You hit that very quickly and you're good to go. Your AF, your autofocus points, we have several of those as well. So that's nice little move through. It's a lot of autofocus points. Yep. So that's.
We're used to like 18 or so. This is like a lot of autofocus points. So if you're doing like macro work, you can really adjust where you want that autofocus to be, so that you can take the picture without having to set and then correct and then and back and forth shooting. That's great.
Exactly. As far as your functionality, you want to do aperture priority, you basically move this, you keep this on auto. Or you want to do shutter priority, you just do the reverse. Like this, and you want to put it on P for professional.
Of course.
You put it on A and A. And then you use the exposure compensation dial, which is very quick right there. Accessible, and like I mentioned before, the little slant on here kind of gives you more of a nice stability.
Yeah, better grip on it. Now, this camera is definitely a pro camera, a pro level camera.
Yes.
This is something that a photographer could feel comfortable. This is something a photographer could feel comfortable shooting portraits with, taking to a wedding.
Yeah, so wedding photographers would love to have this also as a secondary backup camera. They could have it as a primary because we do have the three lenses that are like best for them. We have a 50, a 90, for portraiture, and we have a 28, which is the wide lens, the wide focal length. Anyway, so they can also use those that have like the heavy duty set DSLRs that are like dialed into that, or they have a 645 film camera. They could always use this as a backup for hybrid photography, and it's got the highest high quality. They won't have to worry about how that's going to blend into their into their workflow. The images we have around the booth here, shot by Jose Villa. You got a bride, a groom, the cake, and so on and so forth. You guys can take a look at those later. But again, you won't have to worry about it not being high quality enough.
Right, and for me, being a shooter for forever, just the fact that these things are such fast glass. We're seeing 2.0, 1.4 on a 50, and I think we said 2.4 if I remember correctly on the other side, on the 80, on the macro.
On the 60,
and that's just for me. That's all I would shoot. I shoot 2.8 or less, so everything is wide open, and you have like a beautiful. The whole idea is many times you're sitting in a very, very, let's say, not so conducive light area where it's just not that great. You're sitting at 1.4, you could shoot this at 1600 and be there with almost no flash, get unbelievable great images.
Natural light settings, especially if you're in the actual ceremony, there's no flash photography, it's nice and intimate. Something like this, it's quiet, it's got great great high ISO capability. At 1.4, you're going to get some fantastic results. And again, also with selective focus. I mean, if those who really like doing selective focus photography, like that, a lot of the bokeh effect, if you will.
Absolutely.
This, 1.4, it does a dynamic job.
That's great.
Yep.
What I heard key here too is that quietness.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times we've had a minister or a rabbi or someone, and they're like, no, stop, or we have to get far back, and now we're shooting a 300 mil just to get
the mirrors clank, clank, clank,
yes,
clank.
because the DSLRs are clack, 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 and this will be basically silent.
Yes.
So that's good.
So it's a very stealthy, high quality camera, and so like I said, like for a backup camera, it's fantastic, and of course for a camera that the professional photographer want to take on vacation. This is also just dynamite.
You just don't want to use the iPhone. You need
please.
and
Come
you're
on.
like, what are you doing with an iPhone?
Oh, look at this
And then
sunset shot I have with the iPhone. Yeah, great. Okay.
And you just wish you had the better camera, right? And then you can't bring the big monstrosity of a DSLR.
Yes.
This is amazing.
Now, as far as price goes, is this in range for an advanced shooter? Because obviously it's not a beginner camera. Is it in range of a advanced shooter, or is it really geared more price-wise for the pro?
Well, it's geared somewhere in between. I mean, it really depends on how advanced the hobby photographer is, the prosumer, if you will,
right.
And then also the professional. I mean, it's definitely geared for the professional as far as price point. It's $16.99 for the body, and it's $600 for each one of the lenses, with the exception of the 60, which is $649. Yeah, so it's in a higher price level, but that's due to the quality, it's due to the construction, it's due to the fact that it is geared very specifically to that professional market, and that the aspirational quality of the camera.
Yeah, and a 1.4, we all know, is going to be in that price range no matter what. Fast glass is fast glass. You're going to pay for it, and that's it. Good quality. And I like that how you have that marrying between, you can go from Fuji to Fuji to Fuji and have it all printed out. I know you have your, wonderful Frontier.
Exactly. I mean, the thing is that this is the thing we have in here is the film simulation modes. So the film simulation modes are all designed to be, Fuji color. So you got 400H is designed in here, our Provia, our Velvia, and so on. And you can actually set it on whatever setting you want. And I've actually, this is past Saturday, I was able to take the shots and go directly from camera to our Fuji printer. So it's the color is dialed in, the color space is all Fuji, and we know color. So we put it into our cameras, we put it into our printers, and it works very.
So what you
seamlessly.
see is what you're going to get.
You got it.
That's fantastic. That's great.
Yep. So this is another sample of our Fuji Crystal Archive paper, and this is what we call our Fuji Flex material. This particular print, which is called the Great One, was shot by Rodney Lowe Jr., and he used our Ostia 8x10 film to capture the image and actually stitch it together. However, he printed it on our Fuji Flex, which gives us this very iridescent type of glow to it. It is a polyester-backed silver halide paper, and it is just one of the few papers that Fujifilm makes, but it's one of our rising stars.
So to find out more about this wonderful new camera, where's the best place to go?
Well, people can go to either our Fujifilm USA website, so it's www.fujifilmusa.com, or they can go to the Fujifilm-xpro1.com site.
Excellent. Fantastic.
All right. Well, thanks a lot for joining us, Kacey.
Thank you, guys.